Eagles 16, Jets 9. Pretty uneventful game. I didn't watch it. Glad I didn't. Obviously, it wasn't available for me to watch, but if it was, I would have been pretty bored because it wasn't that great of a game from what I can tell. Big play to Kevin Curtis. He pretty much lives and dies by the big play so far this year. It's either a 80-yard touchdown bomb or nothing, it seems like, But, Eagles pull out a much-needed win. We saw some injured players return and make an impact. William Thomas, Brian Westbrook, Shepard and Dawkins still to come back at some point later in this season. McNabb played pretty well. Westbrook tore things up nicely. Just not a lot to say. There's just not a lot to talk about except, the Jets, their season's pretty much over. Good news is Thomas Jones played well. And the bad news is Mangini is still good with Chad Pennington, and I think it's pretty obvious it's time for Pennington to hit the bench, see what you got with Kellen Clemens, and if he doesn't have it, I think what you need to do is look at Andre Woodson in the draft. I do think Andre Woodson can be a superstar in this league, so if you miss the chance to draft him because you didn't know what you had at quarterback, I think that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt. Let's see. We got the Ravens 22, Rams 3. Rams just played a pretty spectacularly bad game. Farad was, 5 interceptions, no touchdowns. 3 points for the Rams offense. That kind of tells you all you need to know. Obviously they're banged up right now, but they're having a hard time getting the ball to their playmakers. Torrey Holt, kind of quiet today. 2 days ago. And as for the Ravens, I still don't really like the Willis McGahee thing. He hasn't impressed me very much. I think that the Ravens kind of chose, like I've said this before, they chose between Willis McGahee and Adalius Thomas, and I think they made the wrong move. I think they should have kept AD. But they're 4-2 right now. That's more than I can say. And there's one game back in that division, so actually I think it's 1.5. Maybe it's a half, I can't remember because I know the Steelers just had their bye, but we'll see where they go. They're looking a little better lately, I think. A little inconsistent, but they have their moments. Chiefs beat the Bengals. This was kind of my upset pick. Nailed it. Bengals could not stop Larry Johnson or Tony Gonzalez. Just a pretty effective day for the Chiefs offense. It has to feel good to score all those points, especially after the problems they've had in recent games. And, let's hear it for Tony Gonzalez. He broke a record, pretty big record too, most touchdown catches by a tight end. He might break a couple more before he's done. Special player. Maybe the most prolific tight end in NFL history. As for the Bengals, I drafted TJ Houshmandzadeh in a 24-team fantasy league, which is hard, by the way, because with all those teams, the good players are spread out very thinly. So I'm really happy that I got my hands on Hoosh, because he's been bringing it home for me all year and really playing lights out. Palmer, he's having a good season, but he just makes some throws that make me shake my head sometimes. He looks so much like Rex Grossman sometimes. It's a little frustrating because I like the kid. We got the Vikings and Bears. All you got to know about this game is AD. Love this kid coming out of college. Loved him in a Vikings uniform. And here I am. He's ripping it up. He's playing at a really high level. 224 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns on 20 carries. Just completely ripped apart the Bears defense. It was really fun to watch. He's the next great thing in the NFL, I think. Barring injury, he's going to be a superstar. I really, really like what I see out of him. A really special talent. He overcame, a bad day by the Vikings defense and a bad day by Tavares Jackson, who made one good play all game. There's just not a lot else to say, but AD, all day. And as for the Bears, got to stop kicking to Devin Hester. Anybody who plays Chicago, stop kicking it to him. It's a lost cause. And that offensive play, the 81-yard touchdown to Hester, that was sweet. I gotta say, I know it's kind of meaningless at this point, but that was a sweet play. Can't believe Minnesota actually allowed that. What's up with Miami's defense? They got good players on that defense. Some people don't know it, but you got Zach Thomas, Joey Porter, Channing Crowder, I believe his name is, Jason Taylor. I don't know. I didn't expect this offense to do much of anything. While I'm talking about offense, I'll say that Cleo Lemon and Ronnie Brown had good games. I'll give them that much. They played well. But their defense, it just isn't doing much of anything. It's getting ripped up. Braylon Edwards had a field day. The Jamal Lewis Browns were able to run the ball effectively. They passed it real well. Winslow, Edwards, all these guys having big games. And it's kind of depressing to me to see Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas, two of the great players in this league, waste away on a crappy team in their old age. Obviously, the trade deadline just passed, which I'll talk about in a little bit. I would have liked to have seen them gone to a team that's contending. I don't know who. I do give props to Cleveland, though. They've won some games this year. I know a lot of you Dallas fans aren't happy about that, but they're just playing pretty well right now. Tampa Bay, Tennessee. Tampa Bay wins on a last-second field goal. Pretty defensive struggle here. I got to watch most of it. Vince Young got hurt, but it's minor, so no Madden curse yet. Not yet. The Bucs were able to move the ball pretty effectively. The run game was just all right, but Ernest Graham is giving it his all. He's always fighting for that extra yard, and I can respect and appreciate that. Garcia continues to be so conservative, and it's great for a coach to see your quarterback play like that. He hasn't thrown a pick yet. I don't think he's turned it over yet. Just playing some brilliant football, and that throw to Galloway for the touchdown was sweet. I don't hate Galloway like many Seahawks fans do, and I'm happy to see him continue to play at a high level at his old age. And, obviously, there's just not a lot else to say. Let's see, you got Green Bay. Oh, wait. About the trade deadline, I guess Tampa Bay traded for Michael Bennett. Interesting trade. So the Buccaneers are going to win the Madden Bowl because Michael Bennett is a god in Madden, but in real life, maybe not so much. We'll see if he can have much of an effect, but in real life, he's just not that effective of a running back. We got Washington and Green Bay. Santana Moss benches himself after he pretty much cost Green Bay the game. I don't agree with that. I don't think you can do that. It's up to the coach to make that decision. I think you just got to shut up and play. You're paid to do that. Just go out there and do your best because, especially for Santana Moss, he's a game breaker. He makes big differences on this offense, and they really need him. He dropped a ball that fell into Charles Woodson's hands, I think it was. I believe he also fumbled the ball that Charles Woodson picked up and subsequently ran for the game-winning touchdown. Rough loss for Washington. They had the game. I didn't agree with the officiating. I watched this pretty much the whole game. I felt Green Bay had 2 touchdowns stolen from them, but what are you going to do, right? You win. That's really what matters. And they did win. Running game still isn't there, but they're finding ways to win either way. And I love seeing Charles Woodson play like this. He had a real good game. He's playing at a high level these last few weeks, and I just like to see it because Woodson was one of my favorite players in college. I remember it vaguely, but I remember it, and he was great. Nice to see him have a comeback. And, Favre did not play well, but when you're this old, you deserve to play poorly and still come out with a win. He obviously breaks the interception record, not a record he wants, but it's understandable given how long he's played and how much he has been asked to do. I don't think it's a mark on his record. Not a lot else to say here. I think both these teams are going to be there when all is said and done. Both 2 solid teams, but I don't really like what I've seen out of Campbell lately. I don't know. I liked him a lot before the season started, but he's just been too erratic. I don't know how far they can get with him.